One of the things which I loved about video games growing up as a kid was the customization aspect of video games. I hated video games which were kind of locked in storytelling. You're just basically playing it out, kind of like a movie. There was very little options. You're just basically running through the game how they want you to run through the game. Used to hate that. The video games I enjoyed were kind of like, I've mentioned many times the Elder Scrolls video games, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim. Those games are kind of like open world games. You make your character. You can follow the storyline which they've kind of set up, but you can also do nothing and just spend thousands of hours in this world which they've created and just run around and cause a muck. Basically, you can do that. Or games kind of like FIFA. FIFA is a football game, a soccer game. You can start a career and you build your team whichever way you want. You can play any type of football you want to play. I used to love that. It's kind of like a liberating freedom kind of feeling where you can express your creativity, your desire, your whichever way you want to do it. You can just do whatever you want to do. This is what kind of attracted me to video games. This is what attracted me to playing them for so many freaking hours over my life. I just marveled at the idea of living or obsessing myself, with a topic, let's say football or some game or some character development or whatever it is. And I have all the options and I can play whichever way I want. So I can approach a situation. I'm like, okay, I can do this way or that way, whichever way. So I would often make characters. This is why a lot of these games are so repeatable, so replayable. Because you remember the bosses, you remember the stages of the game, and you would approach, many different ways. So you make a character that's really good at one thing. You go through that situation. You restart the game and make another one to do it this way, another way. I used to love that. And I think that comes from, I don't know whether this is like a rebellion part of me or what it is, but, ever since you've kind of know for yourself, you grow up and there's just a whole bunch of rules. You have to go to school. You have to go do the homework. You have to do this. You have to do that. I started playing basketball. The coach is like, you have to make 3 swing passes. Pass. Rarely did I ever have in my life just the ability to create, to just be me, to have the option of variety, of just choice. And so these video games were that, turn the game on. I can be a heavy armor wearing mage. I can be a, twin battle axes freaking in my arms, my hands, and just sneaking around. I can be non-violent character, just go pick my freaking plants in Skyrim and make potions and then sell them and beat the game through just having a lot of money. Do whatever you want. I can play FIFA. I can have 4 strikers and they're all like 6'6" guys, so I can just play the long ball. It's just like you can do whatever you want. Whereas in life, wherever you turn, man, there's just a hierarchy. There is a set of rules and you can't do anything. I used to hate that. When I played basketball, man, I used to love basketball. So, me and my mates would play around and I'm doing whatever I want to do. I'm scoring. I was so much better playing 3-on-3, away from structured basketball. You go to structured basketball, I'm like, man, I can beat this guy one-on-one every single time down the court. But no, the coach wants me to do this. Swing the ball around, pass to the big man, run around, play a decoy, It's like there's no, I still played, I still loved it. But it was like, it was killing my soul at the same time. I used to love that game, man, but I could never express myself how I wanted to express myself, right? I had different ideas about playing the game. I used to ask myself, so I've just stolen the ball. I'm running down the court. There's one player kind of like covering the middle. He's running to the ring because he reckons I'm going to go for a layup. I used to think to myself, I'm so good in the mid-range game. Why don't I stop at mid-range and take the jumper? Why do I need to go for a contested layup? But I never thought to do that because, well, you need to go and lay the ball up. That's kind of what everyone does. Now I'm seeing guys, man, like transition 3-pointers, man. The guy's literally running. He's got a layup. He stops. Everyone overtakes him and he shoots a 3. I want, and I always wanted, this idea of just doing what I want to do. This thing that I do, this weightlifting stuff, this squatting stuff, the deadlifting stuff, man, I cannot follow a program, man. I've been following programs since 28th of January 1989, my birth date, the moment I freaking cried in that first second of my life, rules. The first freaking second in all my life, this is what you gotta do. Does not matter what you think, you have to do this. So damn sick of that, man. And to, again, download a program, pay a guy so he can tell me what to do. Nah, man, I can't do that, man. I cannot do that for the sake of me, man. I cannot do it. If you make me do that, man, I ain't gonna do this, this much, with this much passion, with this much energy. I just can't freaking do it, man. This idea of making decisions and being responsible for your decisions is so freaking refreshing. It's like, here's a problem. I want to get to 220 kilo squat. You can do whatever you want to do. You can follow the traditional stuff. Yeah, man, you can do it. Or you can do whatever you think you should be doing. And of course, you're not the smartest guy in the world. You're not Ed Cohen. You're not Klokov. You're not Clarence Kennedy. You're not some established guy in the community. So if you make a mistake, it's going to cost you time. It's going to cost you gains. All of that. I welcome that. For my whole life, man, I've been following people. I cannot follow people anymore, man. This idea of auto-regulation. So you could be squatting every day like me and you can have a completely different take on it, man. You could be doing squat every day, sets of 10. You're going to work up to a top set of 10, right? You could do that. You don't have to do a single. You don't have to do a triple. You can do whatever you want. So this idea about, a lot of you guys have asked me about a program. I don't think I will ever be able to sit down and write a program. Instead, I might sit down and write a philosophy, my philosophy on lifting, which probably entails a lot of life philosophy as well. All of that, it kind of entails the same thing. So this squat every day thing, this idea that I'm doing, a lot of people are like, oh, you're doing Bulgarian. I'm not doing Bulgarian, man. This is my take on this thing, right? There's no program here. A lot of guys that come onto the channel for the first time, and man, has the channel grown some, man. Unbelievable. I can't even believe, like, let's see this number. It's 90,000 people now, man. The hell does that even mean, man? Anyway, so a lot of people come on, they're like, oh, what did you start off with? What are you now? What's the program? And so I find myself repeating all the time, there's no program. And people are like, what do you mean there's no program, man? Like, so what are you just running around aimlessly? It's a philosophy. What's philosophy? Philosophy is this idea that you have a situation, okay? This is a problem. There is a problem at hand. I want to teach you how to fish, not just give you a meal. I want to teach you how to hunt, not just give you a meal. That's what philosophy is. I'm teaching you, or I'm trying to teach myself as well, how to approach this thing. So we have hip pain. Okay, how do we approach that? I don't want you to be like, okay, you need to do 50 meters of walking lunges. No, man, I want you to think about what's happening. And then it might be walking lunges, it might be RDLs, it might be single leg RDLs, it could be fire hydrants, it could be whatever you want to do. You're thinking about the problem and you have a method, and that opens you not to just one exercise, but 1,000 different exercises, because you understand what the goal is here. You understand causation. You understand what is happening here. You're not just following blindly. That's the whole thing here, man. I'm basically talking every day to you guys, and for some of you guys who've kind of followed along for a long time, you kind of understand now where I'm coming from. And every day I find a new way of kind of delivering my message. It's very hard to kind of convey exactly where all of this comes from, but I have trouble following what 99% of people are following, man. Like, you go to high school, you go to primary school, you go to high school, you go to university, you start your career. It's just a whole bunch of rules everywhere. And I understand why there's rules, man. If everyone freaking did whatever they wanted, society would collapse. I get that. But if you're dealing with something that, no one cares about, right? Like, this is a hobby. This is, for me, fun. This is just my escape. This is my church. Somebody said, this is my thing. The results don't matter, man. I'm not going to kill somebody if I give them the dose which I reckon I want to give. Or I'm not going to write an assignment with a freaking conclusion to start off with and then an introduction at the bottom because I'm going to fail that essay. I'm not doing that with consequences. This is just me, man. I'm just doing my thing. And in the process, I might get to a situation where I'm like, damn, I found something out, man. I ran off the beaten track. I ran into the damn woods, right? I'm running around like an aimless guy, and I find this big ass chest full of treasure, which I otherwise wouldn't have found because I'm following around the damn path everyone's following. So it's kind of like, you know, I've got nothing to lose here, man. What am I losing here? It's, you know, a large part of my motivation here, a large part of this consistency, this crazy numbers of freaking days in a row, 750 odd days. This is craziness, man. The numbers terrifies me. Like, man, it's a lot of freaking days in a row to do anything, right? So I look at that and I'm like, man, this is crazy stuff, man. But then I think to myself, what? Like, what's kept me? It's the freedom, man. I can do whatever the hell I want. If I come in, I don't feel like doing shit. Just the thought of I don't have to do this shit makes me want to do this shit because the weight of, you know, you have to do this shit is not there, right? It's really weird, man. Like, I remember hearing somebody talk about this online. They were saying the moment you get mortgage free, the moment you are financially, you know, emancipated, the moment your money doesn't matter to you anymore, you actually want to go to work. This is the craziest thing about it, man. When you have to do something, you don't want to do it. But when you don't have to do it, you want to do it. It's kind of this idea we were talking about my yesterday's video with a few of you fellas. You know, one of you guys said, you know, as a kid, man, I used to hate people telling me what to do. Like if somebody said to me, you need to do this, automatically it's like a repellent. I don't want to do it. Just because that guy said, you need to do it, I'm like, I don't want to do it. I'm kind of like that as well, man. If you have to do this, I'm like, man, screw this. But if the offer is there, like you can do this or this or this or this or this, then it's kind of like I'm more excited about it. This is the degree of autonomy. And autonomy is like this weird thing, man, that makes you feel human. You're not just a machine. You're not just a cog. You feel like there's value in your thinking. There's value in your decision making. There's just more spirit to it. I guess that's kind of what I've always kind of yearned for. But you know, you need to be extremely good at your craft to develop that freedom. So if LeBron James walks up to his coach and he's like, hey, listen, man, we ain't doing this, man. We're doing this. Probably he's going to be able to get his way. You know, but if some guy like off the damn bench, you know, that Malik Monk guy, if he walks up to the coach and is like, hey, listen, man, enough of this shit. You're giving the ball to me and we're going to run 1-4 flat and I'm taking their best player off the dribble. The coach is going to get the hell out of here. Who are you, man? You know, you're still wet behind the ears, man. Get back in line. What are you doing? Right? So it's kind of like, I understand why this is happening. Like Ivan, freaking in year 1, walking up to the teachers like, nah, man, I don't want to do this. I want to go outside and kick the ball. Get back in line. What are you doing, man? Who are you? So I understand why the world is structured the way it is. It's just, there's a part of me that's always kind of yearning for like, just let me go, man. I want some peace and quiet. And so all of life around me is in structure. It's all like protocols. It's all rules, regulations, guidelines. Man, it's nauseating. And so for me to come in here and be like, okay, I need to do 5 sets of 5, or you need to do 5 sets of 5 at 75%. Spare me, man. Like, please, just another set of guidelines, another protocol. Some guy wrote something about something, and now I got to follow that something. Jesus Christ, man. So I hope you understand now where this drive comes from. It's like a celebration of autonomy. Just, you can do whatever you want. And the craziest thing of all, man, like I said before, when you don't have a gun to your head to do something, you actually want to do it, man. It's so freaking, like the psychology, the mental aspect of us human beings is just bizarre, man. It's so damn bizarre. It's like we all want something that we can't have, right? We all want something that we can't have, right? But the moment it's available, you're like, I don't want it. Yeah, I remember as a kid, like, you know, with girls. Oh, the greatest girl of all time. The moment, like, you kind of, you know, friend her and whatever, and you're together, it's not so special, right? The moment she says yes, not so special. But when she's saying no, and running away, oh man, the craziest thing, I gotta get that, right? Same with cars, man. If I give you $1 billion, man, like, oh, Bugatti Veyron, yeah. The moment I give you $1 billion, you're like, screw that, man. I don't want that anymore. It's kind of, everything kind of reduces its energy because you actually have the potential to do it. It's a bizarre thing. I remember as a kid, man, Before I got my license, I used to think to myself, man, the moment I get that license, I'll be able to drive wherever I want. I can drive, just complete freedom. And yeah, for a little while I did that, and it was great. Now I have not only just freedom, but I have a car that I love. I can drive all the time. It's just, nah, man, I know it's there. That's all I really want to know. I want to know it's there, and I don't really just go for drives like I used to. It's a really, really weird thing. So I think a lot of this training stuff, man, if it's tiring to you, man, if you're just getting worn out about thinking about what your current program is, and I'm not feeling it, I'm not really excited, change it, man. Just change it. Do whatever the hell you want, man. That's kind of me. Like, if you're in the same boat as me and you're just doing this for the sake of for experimentation, for the sake of it, like learning about the body, working out the problems, working out where that nail is sticking out so you can hammer it, and not just have that spray effect where you just do everything 10 sets of 10s, you just cover everything. If you're like me, you're always kind of looking for it, and that's kind of the thrill of the whole training experience. Just do what you want to do, man. Don't just follow another freaking set of guidelines. If you enjoy following guidelines and you enjoy just switching your brain off and just having somebody tell you what to do, maybe there's people out there like that as well. That shit ain't me. That's 100%, man. Like, when I go to work, I follow all the rules. When I'm on the road, I follow the rules all the time. Maybe sometimes I don't follow the rules, but you know what I mean? Like, there's rules everywhere. The last thing I want to do is to have somebody tell me, okay, my crypto says, Texas method 5x5. You can't do any other accessory other than these. Man, get the hell out of here, man. Just let me do what I want to do, man. If I want to do some flies, I want to do some flies. If I want to sit here and do some freaking front squats, I will. Speaking of front squats, today I did 10 sets of 10. Did a lot of freaking front squats. I didn't go heavy. I kept it at 100 kilos. And I don't know whether you guys can notice, man. I'm just focusing on trying to stay upright. I'm really, really focusing on driving those damn knees as further forward as possible. Until I hit that block, I try to kind of keep the hips out of it. One of the things that I've kind of noticed is we all have strengths, and no matter what you do, man, the strength always wants to come in and kind of overpower the movement. My quads don't want to be involved in the squat as much as my hips want to. It's really weird. So keeping it at 100 kilos, something manageable for the weaker part of me, all of a sudden the strong muscles don't have to engage as much to move the weight. This is the thing about loading and programming and thinking about what you're going to do for the day. If you're trying to work on a weakness, if you're trying to isolate, say, the hamstrings and the RDL, or whatever the case might be, think about load. Load is not just the maximum weight you can move. It's about the maximum weight you can move with the right targeted muscle. That's the really interesting thing. So, I can squat 140, 160. I can do 160 on the front squat. I'm doing 100 kilos here. I'm really focusing on driving the knees forward, and it's heavy, man. It's heavy because I'm really trying to deactivate the strong guys and activate the stuff that I'm trying to train, the quads, the verticality, and all of that sort of stuff. So that's kind of what I did there. Today I came in, I had no idea what I was going to do. The freedom, man, it's so freaking refreshing. It is so fun, man. I don't know. I might be the odd one out or whatever, but I'm sure some of you guys are going to comment and say, look, I enjoy rigidity. I enjoy structure. I enjoy somebody that has better experience and knowledge than me telling me what to do. And that's how healthcare is. There's a professor on top of the game who's read all the freaking articles, who's got 50 years of experience, and he's going to write the protocol which the hospital is going to run, or these procedures are going to run, because he's the main guy. I get that. And probably the best results are going to be had that way. But to me, I don't want to follow another protocol. I want to do it myself. The idea of I might work something out. You know what I mean? Like, I might discover something. Back in the day, man, people used to jump on a ship with a whole bunch of food and a whole bunch of people. They used to just sail into an unknown water. Unknown water, just across masses of water, of the hope that they're going to find a new world. They're going to find new land. Did those guys have protocols, man? Did those guys have any idea where the land was? They just put some food and water on the freaking ship on deck and just let's go, man. We'll pick a direction, let's just go. Think about how scary that is, man. Those guys will die if they don't find something. You know what I mean? Like, if they get stranded or they don't find anything, or the sea swallows them up, they're dead, man. This is just pure celebration with basically no consequences. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.